my voice. So, okay. So I am very excited for you guys today. I was reflecting and I'm realizing that this is pretty much the last week of our mastermind or last month. Oh my God, not last week, the last month of the mastermind. And I am just so excited for you guys. And I know that this is, in my personal experience, the time in our lives, especially like in the middle of the year, in the middle of like life, that this is kind of like, oh, we kind of like lose steam. It's like the summer steam starts to like release. So I want to take this next week and probably the week after to do one-on-one sessions with you guys. And I want to talk about like, what are your goals for the next 6 months? I know that it is like something like kind of gets lost, and I want to make sure it does not get lost with you guys this year. I want to finish 2023 strong. I want to help you start 2022, my God, 2024 stronger. So I would love to meet with you guys and just discuss like, what is the plan for your business for the next 6 months? And I want to also see if you guys want me to be a part of your plan for the next 6 months. I would love that. I would love to continue to coach you. However, that is not a necessity at all. I never want you to feel pressure to re-sign with me. I am going to love you and cheer you on literally no matter what, in any capacity ever, because and I like wrote this down so I would like remember all the things. I'm like, it's like, I just feel like you guys are changing the world and making the world a better place. And I'm just glad to be a part of your journey in any capacity that you guys want. So that is going to be this week and next week. Also, I feel like one of the things that I really want to do, if this is the completion of our journey together for now, then I would love to just like unleash your potential at the end of this. And I want to help you finish strong. And so something that I'm doing in my business and what I was talking with Dimitri about before we kind of came on is like recognizing how powerful it is to be fully you and bringing that out into the world and bringing that out in your business. Not because it makes you better if you figure out if like what it feels like to be fully you, but I wanted to like finish strong with a challenge. And I'm going to be doing the challenge in my Facebook group too. So I'm going to be like posting prompts in there every day. And I just think it would be so fun for you guys to make 3K before the end of September. I think it'd be awesome. And I know that it's like the same price as the reinvestment, but it would, again, that's why I said at the beginning, I'm like, there is no pressure to reinvest ever. I'm like, I love you guys dearly, but I do know that you guys did this group for a reason. I feel very, very strongly about that. And I want to help you amplify your voices as leaders, no matter what. And I also want to help you guys reframe your relationship to goals, because I think for me, a long time, it was like there was a number goal and it really freaked me out. And it would be like, it's like my nervous system would just shut down. And so instead of just like having goals for the end of the year, I want to help you guys to like regulate on these coaching calls and like think about like how we could reframe it is like, how amazing would it be if we gave 3K more worth of value in the world in this next month? What would it look like? And the thing that I found really, really helpful is picturing the number of people that you want to bring in. And I was like mentioning earlier, I was like, because I had a funky relationship with goals, I avoided setting a number. And it was something that caused a lot of stress in my life. And it was like just something that needed to be reframed. And I don't want to have you leave this group with the same attachment and struggle that I had to goals. So within that, I have been like trying to set like goals for myself. And when I'm setting them, I'm like, okay, my life is already great. Like I've already got a great life going on. I'm proud of myself for everything that I've accomplished. And wouldn't it be just fun to bring in 3K more this year, this week? How amazing would it be if, and I don't know what number it is because everyone has different like amounts of their pricing and things like that, but like, wouldn't it be cool if I could work with X amount of people? Wouldn't it be amazing? Or like if you need to get them on your wait list to work with them in the future. And then thinking about like your best clients coming to you, like I truly believe that you guys are like my best clients. I'm just so grateful for you guys coming in and just like hearing your voice by you being you and bringing those people in. So the interesting thing is, I have not done this. I was like, I've not been me in my business. And at the beginning of my business, I shared with you guys that like my mom told me to be more professional, no consults for 7 months. And within the past like 6 months, I'm just so glad that you guys could hear me in a way that you could come in. But I have been really focusing on the systems aspect, when really I think that my strength is in the systems, but also in like my ability to coach you guys and like bring out the best in you, because I can see like when I just see you guys, I see the best version of you always. And I'm always like holding that. And I'm like, what can I tweak to get them a little bit closer to there today? And when we're thinking about like in your business, these goals and things like that, I want you to know that you guys have something within you that people need, that some people are looking for. And I want to help you bring out like, I want you to think about like, when are the times that you felt the most you? And for me, it was like in the 200K mastermind. I felt like I was really like showing up as myself. I was just having fun. I was like saying hi to everybody, just like being like myself. And I think it's interesting because a lot of us tamper that down. And we think that maybe, okay, they'll bring in my friends, but it won't bring in like people who will pay me to work with me. I think that's the misconception that I want to help clarify, because if you think about your business, I have a feeling that most of you guys, in the times that you have felt the most like yourself, that's when you brought in people. I'm just guessing that that is probably maybe true. That was definitely true for me. So, and when I was trying to be the person that people wanted and trying to be like, okay, I need to be professional so that people pay me, none of those people actually end up paying with me or working with me. However, when I was just being myself, randomly people would come in. And I think that there is something to this. So I was like getting coached 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. And they were like, okay, like set a number. Like, what would be a crazy number for you to do? And I was like, okay, like I wanted to do 150 this year. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just like, my friend Tanner was like, just put 200K out there. He's like, why not? He's so funny. He cracks me up. He's like, Megan, he's like, I don't want to hear you say that again. Just go for 200K. And I was like, okay. So I realized that like I did the math and I was like, that would be 30 people. And I was like, that would be really cool. Eventually, I would love to have 30 people in this group. That would be really neat. And then the opportunity came about being on the podcast. And I was like, huh, that is very interesting. And I've had like 30 people that have actually like, it's like 40 new people who are following me. And I'm like, interesting. Okay. And then I was talking with Charlotte and she was like, imagine like how many consults do you want this month? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not going to set a goal. I'm not feeling. And she's like, okay, what would be fun? What would, I know that you guys are feeling like that too, because I felt like that. I'm sure you feel like that with your numbers, but I was like, okay, 4 consults. And she was like, all right. She was like, what if you got 2 this next week? And 2 came in, and I was just like, not like stressing about it at all. But then 2 came in and 1 paid in full. And then I was like, okay, how much would I actually need to make this month to make 200K happen just for fun, just for shits and giggles? Like, what would it be? And it was 24K this month, and just had another person pay me last week in full. And I'm like, and it was because I was being myself on the podcast. She was literally just like, I loved how like you seemed very positive and like kind. And I was like, that's what made you buy? Like what? And I was like, that's the piece of me that I feel like is the most like me, but I have trouble channeling it in my marketing. So I want to help you figure out what is the most you, channel that in your marketing and create some like fucking phenomenal things this year. Like, why not? We only, and like, Demetria, your posts have been so awesome. I'm like, why not? We literally will never get August 22nd, 2023 back ever again. Let's make it something amazing. You guys have already put such amazing value into the world. You don't need to do anything else to be more valuable, to be a more like worthy human being. But like, let's just go and try and help as many people as we can this year. So that is my motivational pep talk. Now I will actually coach you guys. So who would like some coaching starting out with a win, starting out with like, it would just be gratitude, whatever you need. And then let's get into it. All right, to be true.
I'll go first. Okay, so I am trying to relax into like all of the things and just put the information out there and tell people that I can help them and just really still working on how to say it. I did do some things in Chat GPT just to see
Mhm.
what it would say, and I'm loosening up about that because it just like it gave me something and then I totally went, I like took one thing from it, like one idea, and I wrote something totally all myself. So
Mhm.
it's I'm looking at it like kindling and not like the whole fire. You know what I mean? Just
100%.
because I really something in my brain is like, you can't use that because it's cheating in my brain. I'm working on it, I'm working on my brain. But I'm like, just it has ideas, it has a different way to say it. Um, and like I don't want to do the put my words in there because really like they're coming after us anyway. So but I am using it. I'm gonna use it as a tool just for some ideas. So I'm doing that, and I'm really really trying to let go of having to do it right, having to be professional, because that is a thing that I tell myself. Nobody else is telling me that. I tell myself. And part of that is I'm on the executive committee of the the rodeo Austin board. And it's there's only one other woman. Uh, there is one Hispanic man and everybody else is white. And it's just like I know all these people. I've known them for a long time. I like I'm friends with some of them, but I feel like when I'm in that room, like I am not enough because like they own businesses. I know I own a business too, but like millions, just like I a little bit feel like I'm not supposed to be in that room, but I've worked my butt off to be in that room. And I had to give a speech or just introducing people really at our banquet last year, and I was so nervous and I was so like my voice was shaky, and I got through it and it was fine, and the information that needed to be out there was out there. But I was like, see, you can't even like stand up and give a speech when you can do a podcast, like, but you're at home by yourself behind the camera. So all of that's been swirling around in my head, but I'm a little bit at the screw it point. Like I'm just going to put it all out there because I want to build this business. I know that was a lot.
No, that was like,
That's all the stuff
okay.
that's been
And I'm
swirling.
like, that is like, this is the point. And it's like, I want to let you guys know that you've already gotten to this point at some point because you have just decided to start the business. There was a part of you when you first started this business that was like, screw it, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to try this. Right. So it's like, instead of thinking about yourself as like, oh, I have to like put it all out there and it's something that's new and dangerous for your nervous system, we want to be like, oh, okay, I'm just learning the next level of this skill, the next level. And that's the way I've been thinking about like a lot of things recently is like, okay, like things are good and I want to make them even better. What can I do to make them the good to great thoughts? And I just want to like normalize this because for me, it was like this thought that like people are judging me anyways, might as well post about it. And I want to know what your thought is like to just start the business. Like, what was that thought to get you there?
You know, I still haven't, I think that I don't know that I've honed in on that particular thought because when I went through certification, I was going to I did the applied track and I wanted to be hired somewhere. And so I don't know exactly when it switched, but I started building a website and I started putting
Mhm.
things out, you know, I started with a blog and things like that. But, I started doing those things and I'm like, okay, I'll just focus on this.
Uh-huh. And so maybe like let's go like so you're in your podcast, you're doing your podcast what is your thought as you are doing your podcast? Like, I want to put my, it's like, it's like, this is going to help people. I'm going to put it out there. Like, what are your thoughts as you do it?
That I want to put out relevant information, but that I also want it to be a funnel. Like, one of my funnels to bring people in.
Okay. And then, so why do you want to bring people in? What's your bigger why for the business?
You know what? I want to coach women so they feel like they can show up and be in any room that they want to be. Like, I really, so nobody else has to feel nervous, like when they're giving a speech, or nervous if they're in a room where they don't look like everybody else. Like, just being okay with who you are, showing the hell up and doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And showing the hell up. And one of the things that I think is like so interesting is like that, like, so it's like, of course, this is the thing that you are facing at just the next level, because I think that what happened when you first started this business is this, like, for you to get started, it was like, okay, like you felt safe enough to be in a room that you created for yourself. Now it's creating a room for other people. You know what I mean? It's like the room that you created for yourself is like the room with the blog and the website and all that. It's like, so you've created enough safety in yourself to not feel nervous as you do these things. Now you're working, the next level for you is creating the safety to be that person everywhere, and it's like just learning it at a different level. And like, so for me, just so you guys know, it's going to happen all the time. And now I'm like learning enough that I'm seeing enough patterns that I'm like, oh, this is going to happen again. And I'm just going to need to learn it at a different level. Because like I was telling Demetria last week, I had a lot of panic attacks and it was not great. And my whole nervous system was like, this is not safe for this level of visibility. It is not okay. And one of the things that I've realized is that like the thought has just changed to like, I'm not afraid to be judged. It's like, or it's like, they're going to judge me anyway, so screw it. The thought was now like, I'm going to be misunderstood anyway, so screw it. Like, it's like, my people are going to come to me and trusting that. So I'm trying to figure out like what could be like, because if we can unleash the you in your business, what would it look like? What would your like numbers be for like you to create like this next goal? Like, because it's like, it's wonderful to be like, I'm going to be me in my business and I'm going to just show up and be me. But when you can anchor it to like a benchmark and something that's like further along, it makes that so much more powerful, because you're like, okay, I'm going to be me, so I bring in 7 more people. I'm going to be me, so I do this. What would be your like numbers to help you anchor into this? Like, I'm going to put myself out there for, and I think the service piece of this is like I'm going to help women show the fuck up wherever they want. It's like, in your words, nicer than mine, but like, it's like within that, it's like when you're thinking about like, okay, I'm going to show up so that these 7 more people can come in and this is what they look like and this is what they're experiencing. It's going to have a whole different effect to it. It's crazy, but it works.
So how many people do I want to work with? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, like
Goal.
how many people would you want to bring in by you showing up for you, by putting yourself out there? What would be like, you can use the 3K challenge, you could use like any numbers you want, but like thinking about like, what would you want to make your business like, to have like, what would your numbers be that you want to create?
So like my 90-day goal from July to September was 5 people. I had one. She's on hold. She didn't quit. I tell you that she broke her ankle. We're working on like movement and exercise stuff. So she's on hold. I have a consult tomorrow.
Oh my God, awesome.
And I went to a networking event, and I think some things may come out of that. And I'm going to another networking event tomorrow, actually. So I need to follow up with a couple of people from the last one, because it was a really good one. And hopefully there will be things to people to follow up with tomorrow. I was thinking about an ex-coworker who said that
Mhm.
she wanted to, she's like, oh, that might be interesting. I might call you for coaching, blah, blah, blah. And so I was thinking about her and I was going to reach out to her and she reached out to me just as, because we're friends
No, but
too.
like, because I think that you're in this state where you're like thinking about them. Ah, it's not
Yes.
a coincidence.
Yes. So we're going to get together. And I mean, I think some of the conversation may go around that, but it could strictly just be catch up, but still just to see her and to see if she may want to talk about it. I don't know because she's mentioned it a couple of times before. So
Was she the same one that we talked about last time? The one that you worked with, and like before you quit, she was talking to you about like how much she loves your stuff. Is that
yes,
okay? I was like,
yes,
I remember her. I was like,
yeah.
and okay, so this is the weird part about it. Okay. So this is how I've learned there's like this piece of the intention where you're like, I would love to work with these 5 people. I can see them. I know that they're in my sphere right now.
Mhm.
And then there's this version of like trusting you being you, trusting their journey. And like, I'm not sure. Like, one of the things that like I've realized, like on my consult calls and things like that, something that's really shifted is I'm like, your journey is already amazing. You're doing phenomenal things. I would love to be the cherry on top of your life. So it's like, and so it feels just so much better for them. And then trusting like that there's, and like you don't need to believe in like a higher power, but like trusting or seeing that like you can find a reason for everything, like for everything. And that there might be, it's like that, even if there might, I don't know if you might be a bigger plan, or you're going to make a plan happen for your lifetime. So it's like,
Yes.
because again, this is not like not trying to be like super spiritual or religious, but this is the weirdest shit. And it's a learning process and you learn how to do it. And it's by putting yourself out there, doing it wrong, getting it right, like feeling that in that sphere. But one of the things that like I have been that has helped me to trust about this, I literally just did a video about it, is like one of the things that I've realized is that like I feel like you guys are my people. And this is something I always want to normalize because I've coached like 7 people on this, that people are my people when they pay me. It's like, okay, well, they're my people when they pay me. And there has been is like an exchange of currency. And I want you to just like one of the things that I'm working on in my marketing and like within like all of my emails and things like that is being like everyone I ever interact with is my person. And I'm going to be, it's like I'm the people who are meant to work with me do, and the people who are meant to not work with me, I'm going to release them for their journey. But like, I think that this, if you, this, the feeling that when I'm like, everyone I am, this is my thought, everyone I ever interact with is my person, it creates the feeling of detached commitment. And like, I think I talked with you guys about like this like feeling, but this is one of the most powerful feelings. It's like, I'm committed to bringing these 5 people in. I know it's going to happen. Hopefully it'll be in the timeline and the plan that I set. But if not, I know it's going to happen. I know that I have this desire for a reason. And
Mhm.
I'm going to like be committed and I'm going to show up and serve and think about those 5 people every single place that I go, and just seeing them on my calendar. You already have that done. And just like really visualizing that piece of it. It's going to, I am intrigued to see how this goes because and I want to know if anything comes up for you when you're thinking about these 5 people that keeps you from that feeling of detached commitment. These are my feelings, but you might and thoughts, but you might need to find different ones. I just want to offer them to you if you can thought swap and borrow them from me.
Um, I like that. I try to have that detached commitment.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe like a bridge. What's a bridge feeling like when you've signed the other people before?
when I've signed the other people.
Like when you signed that person that like started with you, it's like, did this person like, were they someone that you were talking to, or did they kind of like just come out? Like they were just kind of like, oh, I want to work with you. Sign a consult.
I know her through a friend. Like I know her.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel like I could coach her for the rest of her life because I think she needs coaching for the rest of her life. And I'm willing to do it. So I know her. I know her.
Okay.
But she was like commenting on things and in my Facebook group. And so I guess something I said resonated with her.
And when you were saying the things that resonated with her, right? Like saying things that resonate, what were your thoughts? Like, were you saying things to like be like, I want to sign people, or do this? Can you hear him?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, great. So
I was putting the information out there, and I think then it was the beginning of like June, I was more consistent.
okay.
And so I think just being away for it's been very sporadic and away. And like last week I was with my mom, which was her birthday. That's where I was supposed to be. So now like being focused and working and consistent again, I think will help all of that.
Okay. So I want you to know this is your thought. I'm just going to put the information out there. I think that it's worked for you in ways that you don't realize has worked for you. Okay. So when you were just putting the information out there, it's working. This is the thought that works for you. And that's why I was like, it's this thought. This is your thought. This is like they're judging me anyways. It's gonna work out the way it's supposed to. And when you are thinking, I'm just putting the information out there, how do you feel? Is it like grounded?
Maybe
Knowledgeable? Helpful?
not. I don't always feel knowledgeable. That's one of the things, like I hold back and I'm like, oh, is this right? Is this the way to say it? So I like, and it's not knowledgeable. And it's not, I don't care. But you know what it is? It's like somebody will get it. This is for somebody. Like I feel like, and I'm working on this, like I feel like I have to be Brooke. Not really, not Brooke, but you know what I mean? Like I have the level of knowledge and all the stuff to back it up. Well, I'm working on it. I don't have all of it, but I have 55 years of knowledge and I've done pretty good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let that go. Aloof.
Okay.
But caring aloof.
Okay. This is your okay. But a caring aloof. Do you hear that? It's like, this is your detached commitment. This is your detached feeling. It's like, and one of the thoughts that is one of my favorite thoughts is like, I've not figured all of this out. I've not figured out how for everything that a 6-figure business needs, even I have not figured out for sure. Have not figured out stuff for a 7-figure business. Sure of shit, have not figured it out. But I figured enough out that I can help somebody.
Right.
And I'm like, that is the thought. So I want you to imagine, and I'm going to stand up and be weird for a second. Okay. I want you to imagine going into it's hard to see me. It's okay. So I'm going to imagine like that you're going into this like networking event. Okay. And you're just like going in and you're like, I'm just putting the information out there. I figured out enough that can help people. Someone's going to get it. Someone's going to get me. And like trusting that and like walking in there and be like, hey, I'm Demetria. So nice to meet you. It's like, tell me about you. Tell me about your life. Like just being like you and just like being in there and being like, okay, like I'm just like the right people are going to come. Dora's going to figure it out. But like being you, what would you do and say that you are that's like different than you're doing right now? Like sometimes it's like that this like it would be just a little different. And because I think that this aloofness, like me just being me, no one's gonna buy that. But that's what they buy. That's like that they want from you. Okay. So sorry for being weird. I was like, I feel like this is Just like, this is like me sitting up being like, this is important. And I'll fix my camera. So what would you do?
I think, I think I would just I don't really have a problem talking to people, especially one-on-one. And so networking, I do go in and I talk to people and I love to hear about them. One of the things that people in this, we did an exercise in this last networking event, was like, I need to tell more about me. Like, I need to make it more personal, put myself out there more. But what I realized, I was doing some journaling, was, people were like, how did you get into coaching? Well, I was in Corinne's program and I wanted to work for her, and it was weight loss, and I'm still working on that. And so I think I have a big hang up about that. So, but I've done other stuff, right? Like I feel like I've come a long way in some areas, but
what are
still
those
some
areas
I'm working on.
What are the areas that you've come a long way?
Well, I want to say more confident, but then I was so nervous at that thing last week, but I did it anyway. So maybe there is some confidence in there. Like I was confident that I wasn't going to die. I was going to be able to get through the 4 or 5 pages that I had to read. You know what I mean? I was okay with saying I was nervous when I got, because my Apple Watch just went like, your pulse is really high. So I got up and like, my Apple Watch just told me that my heartbeat's really high. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. So I feel I am more confident in a lot of ways, and I'm getting better at that. I don't need everybody's like, okay, everybody's buy-in. I'm okay if I'm the only one buying in to my life. So I'm better with that. I feel like I have more self-trust. And I trust my ability to figure it out, get it done, to handle my life. So those things. And I am still trying to lose weight, but it's not the main show, like the one thing running through my head all the time. Like that chatter that used to be there 24/7 is not there anymore. I guess I don't beat myself up about it as much, but I am working on it, and I know that I will get there.
Yes. And I want you to know that there are probably 50 people that want this in their life before they die. Like, not to be dramatic, but like, it kind of helps. So it's like, there are 5 people that I think that you are like just uniquely suited on the planet for you to reach them, and for them to be like confident to the point where they're like, I'm not going to die, but I still get nervous, and they're like totally fine. That they are really like just constantly looking for other people's buy-in, and they can't live their lives. They don't trust themselves at all. They look to everyone else for impact or for their input in their lives. And they're just kind of like, what do I do? And they have weight loss running through their head all the time. They have no idea what else they want to contribute in the world because they feel inadequate, because they haven't lost weight or whatever it is. And they're constantly beating themselves up, and they can't live their unique gifts and talents and purpose because of this. And you're supposed to be the one piece that they hear, see, or work with you to get them a little bit closer to the person they're supposed to be. How does that feel?
Wow. That feels wow. Yeah.
Wow. What's the feeling?
Wow, great. That feels great.
Yeah. So it's like, I want you to know that like you have these innate gifts. You've overcome as much as you've overcome to this point, because we're supposed to bring other people along with us. And I think that like, this is literally like when Brooke talks about like evolving the collective consciousness of the whole, Eckhart Tolle also talks about that. I think that it's like our duty I think, well, not duty. That sounds like very heavy, but like, it's like, wouldn't it be amazing if on our lifetime on this planet that like we are able to help humanity just a little bit more? And like, we've already helped humanity enough by just developing ourselves up until this point, and that's already amazing. All right. Like, so it's like, we've already done it. Check the box. I don't need to do anything more to be like this beacon of like hope and light in the world, because just changing myself was enough. However, wouldn't it be neat if we could do a little bit more? Like, wouldn't it be awesome if we could give a little bit more in our lifetime? And like, so it's like, I think that like, if you were to think about like, because I think that we think that the amount that we've created, all of this, isn't enough in some way. It's like, this is like, it's like, that's why I'm saying that, like, but I'm saying,
Right.
like, what if it is enough? And not only is it enough, it's the missing piece for people that they just need to hear to like up level themselves to the next level, you know?
Right.
So what it's like, if you were to like think about like this goal of like reaching 5 more people, it's like, I know that if you were in this, like, I know I figured it out. I figured out enough to help Sarah, and I figured out enough to help Kennedy, and I figured out enough to help this person. And you meet them and you see them and you're like, wow, you are already amazing. I would love to bring that next level to your life. Like, if you want, it's like, this is something I've experienced. It's been awesome for me. My
Right.
life is like great. How would, guess what? You would bring in those 5 people easy.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is it going to be in the timeline that we expect? Who knows? It's like, we can't necessarily control all the circumstances for people, but I know that you are going to bring in 5 people in the lifetime of your business. Why not bring them in September? Why not bring them in the end of August? Who knows? You know?
Right.
So how does that feel? How does that land?
Good. It feels good. I need to put those 5 things up there. I need to put those out. Like, I just looking at those, they need to like just be copied and pasted onto my little document, and I need to make posts or talk about them or do lives.
Mm-hmm. And like, it just like knowing that like as you go up to this networking event now, you're gonna see yourself in a different light. And I think that the great is that like you feel powerful now. Like, I have created some stuff that most people never overcome in their lifetime. And I'm like, maybe it's powerful, maybe it's like, what's, is there like another emotion that comes up for you?
Um, I feel grateful that I've been able to figure this part out for myself, because it just feels so much lighter. So I had a thought.
Is it?
At it, oh, what was it? At a networking event, like going up and talking to people. I I guess what, because I'm still working, still a work in progress. Maybe what I was feeling, like when people are like, oh, how did you get into coaching? Like, I don't feel like I'm done. So maybe I was feeling like I wasn't not far enough along, but a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't even get this far.
Yes, far enough along. And it's like a lot of people don't even get this far.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I want you to know that like there is never going to be a point when you are like, and I think the shift might have been, it's like, okay, it's like, I'm far enough for somebody. I'm far enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that shift to be like,
Mhm.
okay, it's like, I might not be far as I would like to be on my journey,
Right.
but man, I can help people get to this point for sure. Like, I
Yeah.
know how, like, I created this. And like, I want you to know that this thought, like, I'm not far enough along, like, it's gonna come up probably.
Mhm.
And what is the feel like? It's like, I want you to be able to like pause the model here and be like, okay, I'm gonna switch it to not a lot of people don't get this far. Like, what's the feeling when you think I'm not far enough along? What is that feeling for you?
when I think I'm not far enough along, that feeling is I don't want to say shame, but
It's
I guess maybe shame. Like I'm
like a not as heavy shame.
inadequate.
Mhm. So it's, yeah, which because of all the work that you've done, it's not a heavy shame because you've actually been able to figure that out. Like you've gotten that far. Also, I
Mm.
want to let you know that I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and they had us like say our name and introduce ourselves. And y'all, I almost shit myself. I was like, I literally just like stood up there in front of all these people and I was just like, triggered. I'm triggered. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, I was just like this, like, I was like, I think I was like, hi. I was just like froze and I was like, oh my God, this is my next level of growth. I was like, this is, and I also like went up to like one of the people who was leading a networking event. And I swear to God, I was like, I was just so, I felt so compelled to be like, you were so inspiring and wonderful. And I got there and I was like, thanks for you being you. And then I left. I walked away. I was like, ah. So it's like, I want you to know that like it's not like something that like you will get to the point of like confidence that like you are never triggered. And also that we are all work in progress, but we've worked enough to become the progress for somebody that needs us, you know?
Right.
And like when you think the thought, a lot of people don't even get this far. What is that feeling?
Well, that's sad
Oh,
because yeah, I felt sad for them, I guess, and proud of me that
yeah.
I'm willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm. To do the work. And is it almost kind of like this like motivated level? Like, okay, it's like I didn't think like did you it's like for me, one of the thoughts is like I don't think I thought that I could do the work. Like I never thought like y'all having a six-figure business was one of like the great like I never thought I could do it. I run a marathon, never thought I could do it. Do national boards. There was so much that like I never thought I could do. And then I became the person who did those things. And so it's like one of the things that like getting that it's like I didn't think I could do the work and I'm now here. So now I want to be an example of what's possible for them. That like you might be thinking that like you won't be able to get this far and I want to show you that you can. If I can do it, I know you can. Something like that. That's a thought that I have a lot, you know?
Mm.
What is it like? What comes up there? It's like, okay, so it's like, I'm proud of me, sad for them. What's like something to get you like moving to help the sad humans?
Well, I mean,
Know they're sad.
just yeah, I think that feeling is determined to help them get there,
Mhm.
or at least to let them know that it's possible.
Yes. That's like for me, I'm like, if you guys don't think that you can run a business, I'm like, I was a fucking teacher and I have no business experience. I have no business being here and I'm here. And so if I can do this, imagine what you can do. It's like, it's going to be better than what I've done. I promise. So I think that this is just like, I want you to be like this determined. I want to know it's possible. And like, I'm like really far along on this journey and I can absolutely help you get to where I am. So I think this is so powerful. I'm very excited to see what you bring in this next month and how the consult goes tomorrow. I want you to be in this energy. Like I've gotten this far. It's possible for you. If it's like, if you want this as part of your journey, I would love to like add this to you. If not, that's okay. But like, I want you to know that this is possible for you. And on that consult, I want you to feel that with her at the networking event. I want you to feel that with them. Be like, and it's the thing, it's like when I learned with coaching, it's like people have no idea how much, like, it's like they don't even understand how much they're struggling and how much better their life could be. They have no clue. And it's
Right.
like your life could be so much better. If you want it, it's here. If not, that's okay.
Right. Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. Andrea, do you have anything to add or anything that you, or Demetria, is that okay? I was like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't really have anything to add. I feel a lot of the same kinds of things. So I feel very in the pool.
Well, and I want you to know that like we just need to normalize that this is like what it means like to be a lot of times like in our businesses, it's like to feel like this is so normal. Absolutely. And we want to normalize that and then move forward and be like, okay, so this is normal. What would the next level of normal be? I want to make this not normal. So what are we going to do? So I love this. Thank you so much for bringing this today. I'm like, I hope that like anyone rewatching this is like just sees that this is for you too also. And I would love to hand it over to Andrea and see what kind of coaching you want. And also start with a win because I know that life can not feel winning a lot of the time.
Yeah. I posted a reel yesterday.
That I loved, by the way.
There's not a whole lot of action going on in my business, so I guess just recognize what I did.
Always. And is your favorite color purple? I forget.
Yeah.
That's what okay, good. Okay, so what can I coach you on?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I wasn't really going to ask for any coaching because I just feel like I've been in the same spot for ever.
Well, and I know it feels like that. Trust me. I literally, and I'm like, I think that we are together for a reason. And I want you to imagine poor Jackie Murphy, me texting her my thought downloads every single day that were the same shit. And 7 months of me like being like, nothing is working. It's not going to work. I should just give up. Like every single day, I want you to know that like I was there. I was the mayor of there. I owned there and I was able to move past from there. And I want to help you do the same. And what I just like, you know, when like you're coaching someone and you're like, use like here, like a little like piece of intuition being like, this is what this person needs right now. I just heard someone be like, talk to Andrea about how badass she is because you have not told me all the things about your life that are fucking amazing. And when you're like, okay, I like want to normalize that, like I posted this, right? It's like
Mhm.
you are also a foster mom in this time. I didn't
Well,
know
anymore.
that. So I'm saying that like you do you know how many people are foster parents in their lifetime?
Probably less than our coaches. Well, no, actually, that's probably
A
not true.
100%. Okay. Less than our coaches, 100%. There were 700 or 800 people that went with me just in my round of certification. Right? It's like so like I'm guessing it's like let's see how many people are foster parents in the US. Oh my God. Do you see that?
Mhm.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. And let me see how many people are coaches, life coaches in the US.
Uh,
True. There's no fucking way.
I
Because
know,
I
like,
don't think that they're actually okay. See? Okay. It's ridiculous being able to do that, being able to have a foster child. You also are a mother of four, right? Or is it three?
well, mother of three now, so
Okay. Okay.
this is hitting on my failure trigger and my feeling very inadequate.
Yep. And that's okay. Why? What are your thoughts about this? Let it out, girl. It's gonna come out anyways.
I
We're
mean, it just I failed, like, so to catch you up to speed, Demetria, we had a young lady placed in our home like 3.5 years ago. We were supposed to be adopting her. Um, and she was having some issues with like vaping and whatever. And found a vape. She was going to be on restriction for like 2 weeks or whatever. And then it just like, she told her social worker she wanted to be moved. And since she's 17, she doesn't have to live anywhere she doesn't want to live. So they moved her, and it just, it's hard. I just feel like, I don't know, if I was a different kind of a mom that could have, I don't know, just really frustrates me.
Why? And I know that like any other human who's not your coach would be like, of course that's frustrating, but I want to know what you are experiencing.
Because, we had plans to adopt her, and, the future included her, and I thought that we had a better relationship than just to like run away. Like, we weren't even told that she was leaving. Like, you can schedule what's called these like respite things, and I was having my birthday party in June, and we had already scheduled her to like go away for a couple days because our sons were on vacation with my husband's parents, and my other daughter was at her dad's house. And so we said, let's just schedule her to go on respite on those couple days so we don't have to worry about what time we're coming home or whatever. And they, picked her up, and I heard from my daughter the next day. She was like, oh yeah, because she says she's moving in with a new family on Sunday. And I was like, oh, what? And so, yeah, it was just I felt betrayed. And I guess I just feel like if I had raised, I felt like I was raising her in a certain way to be open and be accepting of like where you're at, and like for her not to like tell us that was like, it was just really, really upsetting. And I think I'm now moved more into the sadness part, but I was very bitter and angry for a couple months. But anyways, I also know that like I judge myself as a mother based on my children's outcomes and results as much as I judge myself as a coach based on my clients' outcomes and results. So, and it all ties back to that piece of like, I just don't feel like I'm worthy. I don't feel like I'm good enough. My worth is tied to other people's outcomes as well as my own like productivity, where like if I don't feel like I'm doing things, then I feel like I'm just like failing. I'm not good enough. And I think that just has really brought me to a place of like burnout. And I just don't feel like doing any of the things, especially since, I mean, I use the model against myself all the time. Just change your thoughts. Clearly you're just trying to muscle through all of this, and you have to think something more inspiring, something more loving, something more in service. You're not in service enough. That's why you're not getting clients.
And I just like want to normalize that like what that you are experiencing right now is stuff that is like, when we're thinking about the model and things like that, the reason why it in your brain likes to use things against you always, but this is like big T trauma. and stuff like this. This is big T, like things that are going on for you to complete a relationship like this that has been such a huge part of your life and things like that. That is not when we need coaches. That is not the time. And one of the things that I learned is that, like, when I was, so trigger warning for anybody, but I was assaulted in October of 2021. And right when my business seemed like it was doing good, and it was very much like what you're saying, like something that was very out of the blue. And it was just like, oh my God. It was just like, I just shut down. I literally like was so depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. The only thing I was able to do was go to CrossFit in Winston-Salem because I had nobody else like in the area. So I just want to let you know that like it was a horrible time, but I knew that within that time, I was like, first off, I didn't know if I was ever going to get out of it. And I was like, I had like so many options, like antidepressants and things like that to work through it. But trying to coach myself to come out of a trauma response, I recognized was causing more harm than good. It wasn't helping me to heal and move forward. And I think that this is coming back to like the like deeper thing, but like, I don't know if everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I went through what I went through for a reason. I don't know if you are going through what you're going through for a reason. I don't know why some horrible shit happens in the world. I can't ever possibly know that. But I want you to know that you can find a reason for everything. And like, I don't know why. I was talking with one of my dear, dear friends, and she's going through some unthinkable shit right now. And I don't know why we have to go through that. Like, this is a part of our journey, but I know that we can find a reason for this. And I think that one of the reasons why this is a part of your journey, or at least we can choose to think about it like this, is that this is something that like the productivity, the not good enough, this could be something that you could help people with. However, I want to honor and like have space for like, if you are in like a deep like trauma response, if you're going through some shit, then we also need to honor that too. Because I think what's been happening is you've been like, rightfully so, because it feels like horrible, but like the resisting and the avoiding, like it's like, it seems like the like this is like the typical stuff from the life coach tool, but it's like, if we can just like let you feel sad for a little bit and be like, yeah, this sucks. This is not a part of the plan. This is not what was supposed to happen. And just like allow yourself to be in this space and be like, yeah, this sucks. And it's okay. It's not okay, but it is like it's not, but it is. What comes up for you here? Like, to be like, okay, like sometimes in my life, I'm going to think I'm a shit mother. Sometimes I'm going to have some really unexpected stuff come up. Sometimes I am going to judge myself, and that's okay. Like, because I know the hardest piece of this is that you don't want to be here. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I struggle with like, where's the line? Because I feel like I have tried to be like, all right, like, you don't have to do any of this. You know what I mean? You can just be with your feelings. Like, you don't have to like think about your business. Like, just don't do it then, you know? And but then I also like, where's the allowing? And when do I start mixing up those letters? And now I'm just like wallowing, right? And just kind of like rolling around in it and using it as an excuse to just not have to do anything, you know? And so that's, I think, the part that I'm like frustrated with, because I feel like I've allowed the tears. I feel like I've allowed myself to feel sad, to feel betrayed, to feel angry, bitter, whatever it is I felt like I needed to feel. But I don't feel like I feel like I'm just allowing that to continue to be an excuse, I guess, rather than like also like helping myself to like move on. Does that make sense?
And one of the things that is a learning experience is the figuring out when it's like, okay, am I just allowing this to percolate, and versus how do I know I need to process like some serious emotions? And for me, like, so this past week when like some serious emotions came up, when I was like, because like, so for me, like that, as my big T trauma happened, I want to help you try and prevent a psychological maladaptation if I can. But like, it was like my business was getting bigger, big T trauma. And then I healed, moved forward. My business got bigger again, got broken up with after 8 years. And it was like, oh, it's like anytime my business gets bigger, I will experience trauma. And so that was the thought loop that I was creating in my mind. And I just want to like know that like those thoughts are like within processing. So what happened is when I came on the podcast, my brain was like, you're getting big, something really horrible is about to happen, someone's going to die, it's going to be really bad, you're going to get really hurt, you're going to come out of a depression that you'll never be able to get out of again. And it was just like, okay, great, brain. And so what I did is I like just, when I was about to like focus on my business last week, I got on the 200K call and had a complete emotional breakdown. Like there was a point, there's a threshold where I literally like could not, it's like I could not keep going anymore. And I just like had to sit on the couch, turn off my monitor and just like mute it and just like allow myself to freak out. And when I allowed myself to just like have this space where I was like, it's okay, I know this is illogical, but we're going to work through this. I was able to allow those emotions to go through. And then I was able to get to work the next day. The next day came around and I had an even worse panic attack. Like I was literally like shaking in bed with Rob and just sobbing hysterically, like the feels. And it was like, he was like able to hold space for me, thank God. And he wasn't like, just what's happening? And I was like, thank you for listening. I feel like everything's about to fall apart. And then I was able to like I think it takes sometimes like that big breakdown, like that huge, like just allowing it all and like being in a really like in a place like that in order to go through. And this whole weekend, I've really not done any work. And like I was planning on doing some work because of the launch and things like that. And I was like, nope, I'm literally just going to sit here and experience this and like allow myself to feel all the things. Same with yesterday. And I've gone through like 5 days of just like allowing myself to feel the freak out. And today I finally feel safe enough to like actually like I was showing up, but like show up in a way that like I felt like is safe and authentic to me. So I want to know for you, like, I think you might need to have like a bit of a just like allowing all the feels to come through and noticing when you're getting like when your brain is like in that really like dark place, and just like allowing all the sadness to come through, allow all the fears to come through, allow all the judgment to come through in a like in a way that you're like, I see you and I'm not going to choose to like feed you. Does that make sense? Because I think that like the fear is that you're going to wallow, and that's when you get into what's called dirty pain. I don't know if I'll send this to everybody. There's a podcast that Carl Lowenthal did, and it's all about like accepting clean pain and allowing dirt and ditching dirty pain. And I think that like there are going to be feelings and times when you just need to like let it go. And then there are going to be other times when you need to like that's when the thoughts like it's like there's going to be the sad, you know what it feels like when you are in the sad like pure like, oh, I'm feeling this and I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling bitter and angry and it's okay. And anger is like a great thing to know when your boundary has been crossed. So it's like, okay, I'm feeling anger and it's okay. And it feels really pure versus maybe like the betrayed feeling, like something's gone wrong feeling. I just talked a lot. I want to know like what kind of pieces were serving you from that tangent.
I mean, I'm interested in that clean versus like dirty pain, I guess, podcast. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't feel like I have those like super strong emotions anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I have any of that, but I'm still like frustrated with like why I'm not getting back into action. Because I feel like it is a little bit too much of like, oh, you feel a little tired. Yeah, you should just go take a little 30-minute power nap, or like, you know what I mean? Just choosing all the like easy, indulgent things to do rather than probably the things that would really like help me, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that I just want to make sure this wasn't somebody else's. So I think that for me, sometimes the laziness is indulgence, quote unquote, and other times it's like I've just experienced like serious shit and I want to let myself have space for it. And one of the things that like I was talking with my therapist, like Johanna, about, she was like, I've learned that like the times when I'm like, no, I can't rest and I just need to keep pushing forward, the work that I do on the other side of that is real shit. It's like, it's not very good. It is like just really like, it is not coming out the way it's supposed to, because I'm forcing it, versus just like when I'm like allowing myself to rest, what happens is like then my brain can think normally, and not normally, but like think like back in a state of like being okayness. And so I think that like if you feel like you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm feeling like I processed a lot. There are times that I'm tired, but it's also like I know that I'm gonna be okay within this. Like, and I would like to move. I'm feeling safe enough and ready to move forward. What I think is happening is you're going from like this dorsal vagal down into the sympathetic. And so it's like, okay, I'm like able to move back down and I would like to get here. What can I do to get here? Which is like a good place to like help other people. And I also like with the breakup, like I'm not sure if you guys were following me at this time, but like I posted it, like it helped me to like have an outlet, and posting about it was really helpful to like help me heal. Don't know if you feel comfortable about this right now. I didn't feel comfortable back in the day when I was going through the assault and things like that. But within that, I think that this podcast is going to help you. And then I want to know with the dirty pain, whatever comes up there, if you're like feeling like you're stuck in a spin of dirty pain, there's this thing called a manual, and it's like one of the things that I did that was really powerful is I wrote myself down and I wrote all the things that I wanted to change about me. And I held nothing back, and I wrote down why I wanted to behave this way. And I was thinking about how it would feel if I changed, and what would my thoughts about them change? What would my thoughts be about me if I changed? So it's like for you within your, like within this loss of your, it's like you're grieving like the loss of like this child. And that's like the clean pain. But it's like, if I had been a better parent, I would have done this. We've got to get clear on what those thoughts are so that we can clean that up. And then you can have that breakthrough. So like, let's do one together and then I'll send you this whole thing, like, so you can work through it. So it's like, okay, so it's like within your, if we were to write you, what would you want? What's one thing that you would want to change about you as a parent, as a mom, business owner?
I mean, the things that are coming up are like, I want to be more accountable or responsible or driven or productive. All the things that I like to measure myself with.
Okay. So if you were more accountable, why would that be good for you?
Because I would actually like be getting stuff done. I would be doing my Monday hour one and I would be sticking to the schedule and I would be proud of what I was accomplishing.
Hmm. So what would you think about you? It's like very meta, but it's like, I want you to think about like you, if I could just like literally just like look at you right now and I'm like, you got it. You are doing all the things, you stuck to your schedule, you are feeling proud of what you accomplished. You've got Monday hour one, like a badass. How would you feel about yourself then?
I would feel like I'm a good I'm a good business owner. Like I'm gonna like I struggle with this though because I for a while there I felt like doing the Monday hour one and all that good stuff, but
Feeling, I'm sure. Would the feeling be proud? Like if you're getting
or hopeful, yeah, proud, hopeful, satisfied.
and I want to, this is like the biggest piece. What do you make it mean about you when you're not doing all this stuff?
I mean, that I'm not, that I'm never going to make it as a business owner. I'll never be successful. Yeah, this is just more evidence that I'm a failure and don't follow through on the things that I set out to do.
Mhm. And so it's like interesting because this version of you is actually like, it's a very interesting thing because like this version of you is telling you that one of your core beliefs is that you really want to make it as an entrepreneur, that you really want to be successful, that you really want to do the things that you want to do, but you're using this to beat you up. And I want to know like what it could be like. There's probably like a person in your past, there's probably like something that happened that made this neurological maladaptation happen. However, it's like one of the ways that I've been able to like help myself reintegrate, release, and like reframe is like I've seen this version of me as almost like a character and being like, okay, if you were to think about like this character, like I'm never going to make it as a business owner, I'll never be successful. The reason why I'm adding like that like levity of having a character, and this works for everybody, is that when your brain is in a state of like, okay, it's not that serious, it's just like a little bit of levity, it only takes you 40 times to get to this ventral vagal stage versus 44,000 to 40,000 in this stage. So it's like if you can think about like this version of you that is like, okay, I want to be more responsible. It's like I want to be a successful business owner. It's like I'm never going to make it. It's like if we can really over dramatize her, can you see like that like version of you that is like I'm never going to make it, I'll never be successful, this is never going to work, it's just more evidence I'm going to be a failure and I never am going to do the things I want to do. Can you see that version of you? like just almost imagine like a clone of yourself, or it could be like, even like for me, mine's Moaning Myrtle. It's like everything's going to shit, it's going to be really shitty, it's going to be, and I'm like, oh hey Moaning, how's it going Myrtle, good to see you, you're welcome here anytime you want. Clearly it's like I know that your heart is good, I know that you want to help me, but right now this is just not helping anything. And so it's like, how can you see like what is your version of this in yourself that you can be like, oh, she's here again. I love you. You're totally welcome here. You're clearly triggered about something. We're going to listen in. I appreciate you. Okay. Oh, I don't need to respond to that trigger in this way. Fun fact. We can actually respond to it in a way that we intentionally choose. So thank you. And I'm going to choose to do what I want to do now. What's that version of you? Can we like make her a character? Like it sounds very unkind. It's like, and that's okay. There's lots of our brain that is unkind, but like, is there like a TV show or a movie or like something that we could use to like be like, oh, like just separate it from you as a person and be like, oh, this is just a character in this story?
I don't know. I'm not that creative, and I don't have any movie. Anybody have a?
Like I was just thinking about like Mean Girls, like or like it's like or I don't know if it's Mean Girl. It's like someone that's like really like a bully. Like it's like there is like a clear bully here. It's like you can imagine it as like an actual person. I don't know if you guys like watch TV shows or things like that, but like being like, oh, there is a very angry Andrea here. Why don't we just call it Angry Andrea? And she's just like upset and she's having a hard time. And we can have so much love and compassion for Angry Andrea that is like trying to bully you right now. Can you see her like and be like, ah, here we are? Does that land a little?
I mean, I understand the concept that you're going with. Yeah, I'll need to kind of digest that, I guess, and
Yeah.
think.
Well, like for me, like I'll have thoughts and I'll be like, it might be someone in your past. So I'll be like, oh, that's a Nick thought. Oh, that's a dad thought. Oh, that's a mom thought. It's like, nope, I'm not going to choose to go down this path today. And it takes practice and awareness and a lot of that. But I want you to, it's like, okay, like if we were to go, it's like, oh, I'm just more evidence. I'm never going to make it. I'm never be successful. How is that true? Like we can go in this way and be like, let your subconscious just go free. How is it true? You're never going to make it. Tell me more.
Like, what do you mean? Like, how is that true that I'm never gonna?
Like when your subconscious is like, so you're suppressing your subconscious and you don't want to let these things come out. So it's like, we need to be like, okay, it's like, what is the evidence that your brain has created as reasons to why this is going to be true?
I mean, I've made less than $1,000 this year. Had like 0 consults. Haven't been posting, haven't been sending like newsletters out, haven't been doing blogs, no outreach, nothing.
Okay. Now, and because of this, you'll never be successful. It's like, because I haven't done all this, then I'll never be successful. What is like because of this, then I'll never be what? Or like this will never work.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna make any money in my business, and I'm gonna have to, I'll stop putting time and energy into it because it's not worth it.
Okay.
And I end up quitting and failing, and
And then what?
then I'm gonna be an embarrassment, because I wasn't, I guess, smart enough to figure it out.
Okay. And okay, so the thing that your brain is like worst afraid of is feeling embarrassed.
Mhm.
Like that's the worst thing that could possibly happen is you feeling embarrassed. And that you would think that, but it's like, I want you to see that, like, are you feeling at least like negative emotion right now?
I mean, yeah, as I'm talking about it, feels pretty gross.
Yeah, it's like, this feels gross. It's like, okay, so we've got these feelings, we've got these thoughts, and it's like, I'm feeling negative feelings anyways, right? In life, you can feel negative feelings and keep going. So is it absolutely true? Now, I want you to think about, like, if let's say you think that you weren't smart enough to figure it out, would you ever want to pursue another business again?
Probably not.
Okay. And then, but you would, okay, so wouldn't pursue another business. But the biggest thing is that you would be okay. So I'd feel embarrassed for a while. Have you felt embarrassed in your past before?
Yeah.
Okay. So there have been some shitty times when we felt embarrassed. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the end of the world. But it's like, okay, but you would be like, I want you to get to the point where your brain's like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't pursue another business, but I would be fine. At my corporate job, I would be doing fine. I would still be a mom. I would still be doing these things and I would still be okay, right? Can you give me your flavor of that? So, because it's better for your brain to hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I still continue like raising my kids. I'm still gonna work my job that, offers good benefits. I mean, the pay is good. Um, I still have my retirement and all of that.
Okay. So it's like, if not, let's say if this business doesn't come out, like, it's like, okay, well, this is not worth it. Worst case scenario, I'm going to be just fine. And it's the life you're living right now. It's like, my life is actually like okay right now. I'm still like, yeah, things are like tricky. I'm putting this time into a job, but like into this business, but I'm still okay. When you are, but I think there's a piece of you that really wants to make this impact in the world.
I mean, I question it for myself all the time. Like, am I really trying to make impact or am I just trying to make money? And I guess I
Okay.
hold the two against each other.
What if it's the same? What if because you want to make money, you want to make an impact?
Yeah.
Did you, like what Demetria was saying, like, did you figure out something that could help other people? You're like, oh shit, I figured out that I can lose like 90 pounds. This is like, I know how to do it in the 5 minute. You were like saying like the 5 minute, 5 minutes a day was all that it took for me to lose 90 pounds. Maybe there's a version of myself that saw this as an opportunity to help other people. Do you think that that might be true? I don't think that you were purely like starting this business because you were like, oh, I gotta come up with another way to bring some extra money in, because I think you're doing fine in the money regard. But there's a
Yeah.
part of me that wanted to be a thought leader, that wanted to make an impact, that wanted to do something that was like impactful, right?
Yeah.
Can we have that version of you like take the stage for a second? Be like, okay, thank you, Angry Andrea. We've heard you. I would like to hear from this version of you. Tell me, what does she, it's like, yeah, she's still made less than 1K, still has done this, but she knows that there's something bigger out there. Tell me about her.
I don't know.
What's coming up?
Just because the version of me, like a couple years ago, that was like losing the weight, whatever. I really did feel like coaching was amazing and it like changed my life. And I felt like it wasn't just about like planning my food, it was like showing up for myself day in and day out and like really being able to like decide how I wanted to think about things rather than having like my kids or my husband or my job determine like what my mood was going to be for the day. I just kind of felt like I was being tossed around, and things felt very like out of control, and they felt like pretty miserable. And so I was just like eating and drinking to like feel better about it all. It just gave me like that sense of control back, and like I felt so much more effective in my life, instead of so affected. But I think like my biggest struggle right now is like I feel like I'm back in that place. Like I feel like I'm getting tossed around again. I feel like things just don't feel great. And I think I've kind of just lost my, I guess, belief in coaching, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. This is huge. Okay. Because, okay. So I want to know what your thoughts are about coaching. Coaching doesn't work. What is this?
Like it's not a fix.
Uh-huh. Okay. So here's the fun thing. Okay. Not fun. It says, I know this doesn't feel fun. You're crying. I'm like, I'm not trying to be like, this is so fun. It's like, we're getting breakthroughs. It's like, no, that's like for you. It's like, so here's the thing. If you could get out of that place once, you can do it again. Now, for me, the reason why I got into coaching, literally the reason why I got into coaching was during a 90-day break with my ex-boyfriend, to get back with him. And I was like, not only is coaching not helpful, it is now harmful and will cause people to stay in narcissistic relationships, and is now a really big deal. And it's like, it's my biggest fear is that I don't want to hurt people. So it was like, okay, within coaching, I had to get myself to the place like, okay, yes, it's like, it's not a fix for everything, but it did help me through that time. And I was supposed to be in that relationship for a reason. I think that this wonderful woman was supposed to be your daughter for a reason. I think that this business is supposed to be yours for a reason. I choose to believe that. And also that coaching isn't a fix for everything, but it works. Just like what Demetria was saying, it definitely isn't a fix for everything. There's trauma, there's nervous system responses, there's all this shit. Coaching is not a like catch-all. Like you can't have a broken limb and coach yourself out of it. Like it's like, that's like what your brain is trying to do with like the deep stuff. However, it does fix some stuff. It can get you out of here. It can create a version of you that actually decides how you want to think about things. And I think that we would like to get this person back. I think this is a version of you that we just like, it's been like it's like been within you for a while, and we just need to bring her back. And I'm guessing, when coming back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the call, that this version of you is the one that brought in all those people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been her before, you are still you. But this thought, it's not a fix for everything. And I'm back in that place. Can you see a good reason to keep that thought? Is it going to help you get out of this place again? When you were in this place, what was the thought that got you back?
Wait, say that again. When I was in which place?
You were in the place where you were in like the spin, like it felt like you were completely out of control. Something shifted. You were like, it's like something like, I'm going to take back control. It's like, I'm going to get my control back. I'm going to figure this out.
Well, I mean, I think it was, I also got my start with Corinne, and it was just one of those things where she said, all diets work. The only reason why they haven't worked for you is because you quit on them. And
Okay.
so for me, it was just like this like light bulb thing that like, oh, I just like can't, I just don't quit. Like I just got to keep going with it. And I feel like it was kind of her process with the daily plan, and just being like, and this is how I keep my word to myself. Like I make this plan, and I'm going to learn how to trust myself and trust that I'm like not going to quit on this again.
I'm going to learn how to not quit on myself again. And I don't know, but like, have you gained back 90 pounds?
Let's not talk about that. I
Like,
just came
no, but
back
like,
from vacation.
okay,
I'm
we're not
up
discussing that, but I'm saying that like, so all when we're thinking about like all diets work, you just need to keep going, right?
Mhm.
You changed. So when it's like, if this thought like all diets work, we just need to keep going. What if all businesses work and we just need to keep going? Could that be true?
No.
Okay. So within that, what we're thinking about, like, we just need to keep going. It's like,
But unless the money's coming in, the business doesn't work.
okay. So yeah, right. But unless you're losing pounds, the business doesn't work or the weight loss doesn't work, right? It's not that the diet was the problem. You just need to find the diet that worked for you, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So we just need to figure out the diet for your business to bring in money versus lose pounds. It's like when you think about it in that way, it's like, what were these? So these are pretty freaking strong thoughts. Like, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. How did it feel when you were losing the weight? Did it feel good the whole time?
Not the whole time, but I don't know, like, and of course, like, I'm just remembering it, I guess, in colored glasses or whatever, that like
Yeah.
I felt pretty like for the most part unshakable with it. I was like, yeah, like this is just how it works and I'm gonna do it. And like I used to just have a thought, like the weight's just falling off of me. It's just falling off of me. And it didn't like, 10 pounds a week or anything. Like it was still slow, but I just kind of like kept that thought that it's like I get smaller every day. Like it's falling off and it's not a problem.
Okay. It's not a problem. Okay. This version of you is the same version of you that people love, that people were like, oh my God, she's figured it out. And it's the same version of you. We just need to literally take these thoughts and swap them to your business. We need to create, it's like, why did you want to lose the weight? It's like you had some sort of reason that was strong enough to compel you to get there.
Hmm. I mean, I just thought my life was going to be physically, emotionally, mentally better. Like I just day-to-day tasks were going to be easier. I was going to have more energy. I was going to wear all the cute things I wanted to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just going to feel proud of myself, like the way I look, proud of my decisions, you know, feel like I approved of the things I was eating. I know that sounds like good food, bad food mentality, but feeling proud that I'm like nourishing my body and not just eating for funsies.
Hmm. Okay. I don't know how to spell that. But within you thinking about like, I think what happened is when you were hearing about Corinne's building her business, and did she tell you as you were going through your process, that like everything is better when you lose the weight?
No.
Okay. But we still believe that, right? And there's a part of you that is a little bit emotionally and physically better, that you do have more energy, that you do wear the cute clothes, that you're proud of the way you look, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what happened is when you were on your weight loss goal, you were like, yeah. I hear what you're saying about like business being hard, but like it is better over there. Somewhat. It's like it could be improved in some way. Okay. I think what happened is Corinne told you how hard it is to build a business. And she's like, it's really hard. You work all the time and it's like impossible. It's like, I work, like, what did she say? That thing. Remember how you were like, she said some things and you were like, oh, building a business is really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was more my interpretation, but like,
But it was
yeah,
interpreted the same way before. So it's like, it's okay. We're not judging your interpretation at all. But it's like, there was a thought that shifted, like, oh, my life won't be better. And what's the point?
mhm.
I think that's what happened. I think that there was like, because, and it's the same person saying the same shit, but you didn't hear it before when she was talking about weight loss. And it was, so it's like, in some ways, your life is better. It's still 50-50, but it's closer to who you want to be, right? You without the weight is closer to who you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you with the business? Will still be 50-50, but you'll be more of the person you want to be. This is a very compelling, like the way that you envisioned your goal. So I want to know, like, if you were a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure CEO, what is your vision of that? What, because it's like you've totally like lost sight on this.
Yeah. And I think I don't have a very like, and I know like, I think it's in the classroom thing of like stuff I'd come up with and whatever, but it feels very muddied sometimes because I just don't feel like I'll ever feel comfortable enough to like leave my job. So I feel like my vision is always working both jobs at the same time. And that feels terrible. I will just
Vision.
huh?
If it feels terrible, maybe we should change the vision.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just I'm deeply entrenched in doubt that like I can't feel like I would ever be able to like leave my job.
I'm sure that you had doubt about you losing the weight too, though, right? But I want you to like picture yourself like you're getting up and you are only working one job. And you get up and you have time to spend with your kids. You've got all these systems in place and social media is a breeze. And you just go through and you do your post for the day and feels easy. You get to greet your husband and be like, hey, killing it as the breadwinner, even with the business. I feel so good. And you're getting to spend time with them. What would that version? That's a version, because we need to build, and this is like the first lesson that we were talking about, like the 5-year plan, like that whole vision. I want you to spend some time envisioning her as like this badass CEO. You are making multiple 6-figures, you are killing it. This is the version of you that's going to get you through all the hard times, because this version of you is what helped you to create the weight that you want to do. So we just have to do the same thing for your business. So like, can you just take a minute? I know there's doubt. It's like, but wouldn't it be nice? Like, just go like, okay, wouldn't it be cool if I had this?
Um, I mean, the thing that I want the most is to have like a beach house and be able to work from there and host events maybe at this beach house, like retreats or whatever, and be able to like travel with my family more, not having to worry about like what's my PTO balance. And I want to be and I can't even like I wanted to say I want to be in charge of how much money I make, but then I don't want to say that because it goes the other way too, where I'm at right now, like not making any money in my business.
Well, but here's the thing, okay? You're becoming this version of you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're learning the skill of becoming in charge of how much money you make. And the way that you are learning how to be in charge of how much money you make is the biggest way to scale your business is by scaling the version of you that has figured something out. This is the way that you scale your business, is by being this version of you in your business. And so we just need to learn how to scale, get back to her as much as we can. That, and also having compassion for like the serious stuff that you've been going through, right? But when you're thinking about like that version of you, I think that we get scared to dream and scared to be this version of you because we're scared like if we dream it, and it doesn't work out, then it'd feel bad, right? It's like if I picture this, and it's like I don't even want to allow myself to dream, right? But what happens, it's like, okay, so like with the like 200K goal and things like that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna allow myself to dream. It doesn't mean anything about me if I don't hit the goal, but it would be really cool if I could do this. And when you're in that place where you're like, okay, I already have this business going, I would like to keep it going, to have this, to make this happen, might as well dream and like think about how amazing it's going to be over there. Then this isn't like that there is better than here, but it's like having this dream is what's going to anchor you to doing the right things in the present. Because right now you are not anchored to this dream. And so that's why you're not doing, it's like, who would want to post from the field these thoughts? Like, this is shitty. What if you were posting from like this person? What would be the difference? What does she think about? Like, it's like, I want you to actually like close your eyes and like picture her. And this goes for everybody. And I talked with this about Vindia last week. But I want you to picture you as a fucking awesome multiple six-figure earner. You are killing it. You are doing amazing things in your business. And like, what does she think today? First off, what does she look like? What does that version of you look like?
I don't know.
What's she wearing?
I went between two different looks in my head just then. It was
Okay.
either a power suit or like a really something kind of like, really form-fitting bodycon, kind of modern looking dress.
And I want you to see her standing right here. For me, mine's in a white power suit, and there's another one that's in a green flowy dress. And like I've got the two of them. I've like got both of them in here. I'm like, guys, I am really struggling to get back on my shit, but I know if I can vision it, then I know it's supposed to be a part of my future. Okay. So just ask them, be like, hey, guys, what were you thinking to get you out of this mini rut that I was in for a little bit, which was totally understandable, but like, what were you thinking to get you out of there?
um, you just gotta, I don't know, like you'll figure it out by trying different things.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, like it all works out. You just gotta like, yeah, just, I don't know. That's kind of the vibe of it. Like, just, there's no one right answer. You just have to keep trying different things and it eventually works out.
Yes. And what is she doing today?
This person,
Hmm?
I mean, they're just evaluating like what's going on in their business and they have good records on what's worked and what's not.
And let's say that like they don't have any records, there's nothing to go on. Like, 'cause it's like starting fresh. It's like, what would they want to do today to get to there?
I don't know, they're just decisive and like they just pick something and they just do it.
What advice would you pick? What do you want to pick to just like be like, okay, I'm getting my feet wet. I'm gonna get back in it. I'm in a fucking power suit. I'm in this bodycon outfit, and I'm gonna figure this out. It's like I don't quit. I just have to keep going. I keep my word to myself. I'm gonna learn how to trust myself. I'm gonna learn how not to quit. Let's get unshakable. What is that unshakable version of you pick today?
Oh my God. I just go back to what I know. I'm like, I just post something on social. That's it.
Huh?
But I don't know if that's what she actually does, because that feels like the same old me right now. That's like that. Well, that feels safe. We'll just
Well,
do
it's like,
that.
what if we build on the safety and then do other things? There was a version of you that was posting the things and it was fucking working, right? So it's like, what is the version of you? It's like, it's funny because like I feel like our growth is to go in through phases of remembering and forgetting ourselves. I literally just posted about that today. And it's like, okay, what did the version of me, so we access future you. I would love to also access past you. The person who was posting and was like just crushing it and like was bringing all these people in. What did she think as she was posting?
I mean, just that this is gonna help.
Okay. And what did she feel?
Um, I guess certain, like I knew someone out there would find value in it.
Hmm. So what if it's this meld of the past and future that is really going to help you show up? Will get value. What is the thing that like the person that was you, past you, like that, like you're just thinking it's all about a diet and they're plating their food and nothing is changing? What does that person need to hear today? They're feeling completely out of control.
What do they need to hear today?
What do they need to hear to get better today?
I have no idea.
What's
Like
something that would blow their mind? What's something that like blew your mind back then?
a lot of pressure. Blowing
That's
people's
like,
mind.
or something that could like just help them make their day a little bit better today.
Uh, I just want to be like, weight loss isn't that serious.
Mhm.
It's not built in a day. It's not built in on one plate. You know, it's a series of small, like little actions, you know, and just allowing those to build up over time.
And I want you to picture past you hearing that and being like, whoa, holy shit. I have to deprive myself. Are you sure? And when you think about what they're thinking and feeling, and I want you to like accept and find love for like angry Andrea, but also it's like I want you to be like, okay, we've decided, you're deciding today, this decisive version of you. This version of you exists, and we're gonna make her happen. I don't know how she happens. We don't know the path exactly, but we have this vision and we want to make her happen, right? So it's like if we're thinking about like within your future, it's like setting goals, all these wonderful things. It's like, what if that your only goal is to become a little bit more like her today? It's like, okay, I'm gonna every single day, I'm gonna become like her. And I would love for you for your implementation for this week. I would love for you every time, instead of doing thought work, okay, because I know that that can be triggering to you, but I want you to do your future self work. And I want you to think about, like, okay, what is my future self thinking, doing, and what advice would she give me today? No other things. We're not going to wallow. I love the allow versus wallow. We're not going to wallow. If there's stuff that comes up that needs to be processed or manualed or anything like that, feel free to go with that. However, where are we? I would love for you to be like, okay, what would my future self be thinking, doing, and give to me today? And I know that you are a person who also like, would it be helpful for you if you were to like post this? And I would love for everyone to do this week, is like get into this future self you. And I would love to get to know her a little bit more. Would you be willing to like post that like as you can do it, to get into this like future you, this like badass power suit wearing you? Would you be willing to do that every day this week, just to start this week?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. You don't have to.
The same 3 questions every day.
3 questions every day. You're gonna get clearer and clearer about who she is.
Okay.
Okay. It goes for everybody if you guys all want to post that. But becoming her is how you overcome everything. And I really hope that this helps you. How are you feeling now? Because this is how I got through all the shit I was going through, 7 months of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel good. And I think, yeah, some intentional time to create more of the positive view. I think it's good.
Because what's happening is your imagination is being used for evil instead of good. And so it's like you've been using your imagination to catastrophize, and we want to use it to envision, because it's a very powerful tool. So I want you to picture the good, okay, intentionally. But I think this is awesome. Are you open to, and if Vindhya or Demetria have anything to add, are you open to that?
Yeah.
All right, Demetria.
Okay, so this was good for me too. These are just some things that for you to think about, maybe journal on. I don't think answer now. So you were saying at the beginning that you felt like you were stuck, you've been stuck in the same place. So maybe ask yourself, what do you need to learn from where you are right now? And then ask, what did you give the children who are not with you anymore? Something that they could take for the rest of their lifetime. And they may not even know it right now, but I'm sure you did. Would you change your parenting style? Because I'm assuming that it's based on your core values. And those children were in your life and they're no longer in your life and you're grieving. And I don't think there's a timeline for grief. So allow yourself that. And when you're doing your Monday hour 1, why not put some time on there each day for wallowing if you want to wallow? Like, give yourself that space and time, which and then you go to work for money, but you're making an impact there. So I think it's okay if we make an impact and earn money. And then 2 things you said, allowing versus wallowing, or allowing and wallowing. That was gold for me. And the weight loss is not built on one plate at a time for me. So thank you for those 2 things. Yeah, this was good for me. I think and I'm going to do the future self work too, Megan.
Please. Because it's like, it's everything. And I just like, oh, I just love you guys so much. And that's the beauty of like having all of our brains together. We're all building each other up. And this, I totally agree, is pure gold. And I think that like also these are some of the most powerful questions. Thank you, Demetria, for sharing that. Like, I really, really appreciate that. And I think this is, what do I need to learn from where I'm at right now? This is the kind of work that like, I think we're always meant to do in this world. So thank you. This was freaking awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Vindhya, do you have anything to add, or would you like to, I can stay for a little bit longer and get some coaching if you need some, if you guys need to go. Thank you just so much for coming. I really appreciate you guys. I love you so much for showing up here every single week. I am just so proud and honored to coach you guys. And if you need to go, seriously, like, oh, perfect. Awesome. Here to listen. Okay, awesome. So if you guys need anything at all, please let me know. You know, that's my thing. But also sign up for those one-on-one sessions too, because like I would love to like get in on your business and like learn a little bit more about where you want to go and grow. And if there's any other thoughts that come up, you let me know. Okay, guys. Oh, I just love this group. It's so positive and wonderful. I mean, I'm like, we're gonna change the world. We already are. We've already changed the world in a really great way. And I'm just really glad to guide you along. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.